Good morning, everyone. Steve here. Welcome back to another tabletop baseball video. This one's a little lighter topic. It's Christmas when I'm recording this, holiday season, I guess I would say. And, sometimes you scroll around places like Etsy and other sites to find some gifts. And of course, I always do a baseball search. And I always see these board games, dice baseball games with these fancy, laser engraved boards, and obviously the game's played with 2 dice. And I take a quick glance at it, and then I kind of move on because I know these games are really hard to do in a fashion that are quote unquote accurate or at least realistic. I actually, when I was a teenager, many years ago, I made my own dice baseball game, a little more sophisticated than this. You can see another video or 2 that I've done about that. But anyway, I just know it's really hard with the dice configuration to really get the precision you need. And there's a little bit of foreshadowing here, but if you can see on the right here, they made allowance for either team to get up to 20 runs. And let me be clear, this is obviously for fun, possibly for younger people, and possibly a way for parents and children to enjoy the feel of baseball. So, don't get me wrong here, these things serve a purpose. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about them a little bit today. I'm going to try to be efficient and respectful of your time. If you find this interesting, give me a like. Any comments are always welcome as well. That lets me know that people are watching the videos and getting something out of them. With that, I am going to go through a few examples of these games. And I'm going to call this layout the standard layout, and you'll see why in a minute. But it's very typical for these to have home runs on the double 1s and the double 6s. Even our sophisticated game like apba uses the 66 as a home run, and that just appeals to all of us, I think, that play any kind of game that uses dice, that double 6s is a big deal. What you see here is there's 3 columns of die rolls of 7 each, so there's 21 unique dice rolls here, and we'll talk more about the dice here in a minute. What I commonly look at when I started preparing for this video is just, do they all use the same layout? And one of the things I look at quickly just to make a judgment is the double 3s a walk? That's just an easy one to get a quick glance to say, is this one the same or is it different than the other ones? So here's the first example. And just to be obvious here, you can see that there's singles, doubles, triples, home runs. There's flyouts, pop-outs, ground-outs. This one has a double play possibility over here on the double 2s. And it also has a sacrifice fly over here on the right. Strikeouts if I didn't mention it, walks if I didn't mention it. So pretty basic stuff. Okay, example number 2. So let's quickly look. Where's the double 3s? There we have it at the top of this column. That's a walk. So good chance that it's identical to the previous examples, and in fact, it is. The other interesting thing is, once again, we have the 20 peg holes for each team to score up to 20 runs. And the design at the top is slightly different. So it's not 3 equal columns of 7 dice rolls each, but it's identical other than that. Okay, example number 3. So I quickly look at the double 2s, which on the lower left, Ooh, that's a double play. Double threes. Quickly look at those. Oh, it's the one that's highlighted. Pardon me. Because that's what that red box is for. The double threes, they've replaced the walk with a hit batter. Effectively the same thing. But otherwise, again, this is the same identical layout. So I hope somebody didn't copyright this format, because if so, it's being infringed quite widely. Okay, and then one more example before we go somewhere else. So this is hard to read because it's a bad image, but there you see in the middle, double threes is the walk. Again, 20 peg holes. I guess I didn't look to see if this is all made by the same company. Maybe it is. But it's the identical, what I'm calling the standard layout. Okay, so with that, we're going to talk about the dice. So I've used this format before, but I think we all know that with 2d6 dice, there's 36 chances. Each chance has a 2.8% chance of coming up. I've shown these columns here in red and white just to indicate that there are two unique dice, even though they're the same color in the game. So as we know, there are 6 doubles combinations here on the left, and then that means there's 30 other combinations. And what I've shown here is the various combinations, and in the middle column I've shown the higher reading first, and the right column I've shown the lower reading first, but this is how you get up to 36. The way these games work, which I found kind of interesting, I'd never focused on this before, and probably I'm heightened awareness based on my recent video on dice and so on, is the way you read the dice is you read the lower one first. So like in this top row up here, it could be a 6 and a 1 or a 1 and a 6, but you read that as a 16. And so anytime you see a 16, you've got 2 chances of that type of roll showing up. And when you do all this, that's how you get 21 dice rolls, because there's technically 30 different dice rolls, not counting the doubles, but they're in pairs, so it's only 15 plus the 6 over here, 21. Okay, well, it's helpful actually that they use something like that for design, because it gives you some better precision than you get just by, say, adding the dice together. So, can't have a video from Steve without some math. So what I did is I took the standard layout that we just talked about, and I summarized the number of chances out of 36 by type. And so you see we have 2 home runs, 2 triples, 3 doubles, etc. And you see on the bottom there's the out chances, and there's 21 out chances. One of the things I did, it really doesn't matter, but one of the options is sacrifice fly, and it has 2 chances. But really, in terms of the outcomes, there's not going to be that many sacrifice flies, because you need the right situation for that to occur. There needs to be less than 2 outs, and there needs to be a runner on third. And I went back to Baseball Reference, and in 1971, for example, the sacrifice fly situation came up 5% of the time. So I kind of applied that math. It really doesn't affect this analysis all that much, but being the nerdy guy that I am, I did that math. So what's this all tell you? Well, it tells you that implicit in the board, there's a 345 batting average, and a 750 slugging percentage, and a 417 on base percentage. And just as an aside, the ratio of ground outs to balls hit in the air is 0.5. So my instincts were correct. I mean, I could easily just look at the top of the page here and see that there's the same number of triples as home runs, and you could probably tell that you know, this is a pretty strong combination. The other thing you see is that walks are at 11% of plate appearances, strikeouts 17%. So what I did is I went to 2023 season for Major League Baseball, and I pulled out some statistics, and you can see that home runs were a little over 3% of plate appearances. Walks were just under 9%, which has been pretty consistent over time. And then strikeouts have climbed all the way up to almost 23% of plate appearances. But more importantly, at the bottom, you can see that the league average was 248. The slugging percentage was 414, and that's probably elevated compared to history because of all the home runs being hit these days. And then on base percentage, and then you see the ground out air out ratio about 1. So this led me to say, okay, well, could we do better? Is there a way within the constraints of this dice configuration, is there a way to do better? So I played around with this a little bit, and it came out okay. I cut home runs down to 1, which gets you right at 3%. Now triples, you're either going to have none or you're going to have 1, and 1 is too many and none is too few. But in the spirit of the game, I kept it at 1. I cut the doubles down and increased the singles, and then cut the walks down and got almost exactly at the right amount. And then I put strikeouts up to 8, which was good. Then I just rearranged the outs and came up with an exact 1-to-1 ratio of ground outs to air outs compared to almost the same thing in Major League Baseball. So what I did on the right here is I just made sure that it was workable, and so I spread out, you know, the doubles rolls as best I could, and then the rest are just multiples of 2. So in my example, there are 24 out chances out of 36. So not too bad. The batting average 274. Okay, a little high, but it's a game. What the heck? Same with slugging, but it's a game. Maybe that's a good thing from a game design standpoint, given what the game is trying to accomplish. So there you go. So then I was looking around, and I found out that not every one of these things uses a standard example. Here we have the 20 runs again, but I quickly look at the double threes, and that's actually a triple in this example. And the double twos, which have the star there, are doubles. So, you know, that kind of matches my sense of design or symmetry or what have you. This particular version has no double play, explicit roll, or sacrifice fly. I say it's different layout and probabilities. Obviously, there's still 36 chances with 2 dice. But what we're going to do is the same analysis that I had before. And what you see here is they have 17 out chances here, compared to actually 21 on the standard example. So the batting average is actually even higher, 433, and the slugging percentage is almost double what it should be, is 833. And they really didn't have much in the way of ground balls. I guess it's the launch angle version of Etsy baseball. So, you know, obviously somebody did some intentionality in terms of designing this alternate example, but I was surprised that when I actually looked at it, I actually got stronger or worse, whatever you want to call it, than the standard example. And then maybe to close out this part of the discussion, I found this one, and again, the picture's not great. And sure enough, it's the standard layout here, and you see the threes on the walks, and it's just like the first one. It has double play and sacrifice fly, and so it's identical. It has the 20 down here, and the only difference is if you read across the top, and it's hard to read, but what it wants you to do is the pitching team needs to throw a D6 first, and half the time it's what they call a strike, and half the time it's what they call a ball. And what it really means is the strike is you just go down to the next table here. I'm not really sure what they're trying to accomplish there. I mean, in theory, you could get an extra walk occasionally if you rolled 4 balls in a row, but otherwise you're just going to drop down to this little table and resume as per normal. So really the strike, I don't know what you would call it. It's a strike in the context of the way they do pitch counts in Major League Baseball. It's a strike if it's not a ball. We'll put it that way. So yeah, there you have it. So I thought it would be a good idea right before I wrap this project up is to say, well, how does this work out in real life? We saw the statistics, but so be it. So I just made up a lineup of names that came to mind, no particular order, it doesn't matter. And so I played a quick game, just rolling the dice, writing down the results, one team only. And so we cruised along for the first 6 innings, and we only had 2 runs on 6 hits. We had a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings. We did have a triple, and it had a double, 2 doubles, yeah, and a walk. So okay, all good. It's like, okay, maybe my math sense is not good as my spidey sense, and I got something wrong. Well, then we have the 7th inning. Looks like we started at the bottom here. Started with a walk and a strikeout, so no big deal. And then all heck broke loose. We had a double, a home run, a walk, ground out, double, double, double. Then we had to bounce over, just batter another double, and a ground out. We finally ended up with 8 runs on 6 hits, all in 1 inning. So, okay, fine. That kind of confirms what I was thinking. And then, of course, we had another inning, 8th inning, walk, home run, ground out, walk. So the final score of the game is 13 runs, not quite 20, but 13 runs, 14 hits, 6 walks, 2 home runs. So, it's one game. I know how stats work, but my guess is that this is somewhat representative of the type of the game you would get if you played it consistently. It's not a criticism. I think the game serves a very good purpose to get people, particularly young people, involved in dice baseball games. I hope you found this interesting. It's a little different than some of my other topics, analyzing the more sophisticated games, but it was fun to do. And now every time I see one of these games, I'm going to look and see if it's the standard layout or something different. Thanks for watching. Again, if you liked it, comments are even better. Have a good holiday season. Take care. Bye.